Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the YouTube channel of Petroleum from Scratch. I am Jayesh Char, and this is Petroleum Data Analytics and Machine Learning playlist. So in this video, we are going to discuss about some statistics, some function of the Pandas from which we can know about the statistics of our data frame. And also we will talk about certain statistics terms later in this video only. So let's start our video. So first of all, our first step will be importing pandas as PD, writing OD, and after that we are going to use the same data frame that we are using till now. So if you want to know about the VPD, this valve production data, I will recommend you to search on the internet so that you can get some idea. There is this website also, discovervalve.com. From that website you will get a idea about insight about what was happening in the wall field and how this data is related. So yeah, this is our data frame. Now, as we discussed about df.info in our last video, so it will tell about the various informations about our data frame. Now our next function is df.mean. So it will give me the mean average per column. So what is mean? Mean is nothing but it is a measure of central tendency. It will tell us that what is the average. It is, you can say that mean is nothing but arithmetic average of your data. So we know from seeing this we can know about the central term of each column on stream hours. So basically our well is running for about 20 hours in wall field on average. Average downhole pressure was 181 for all the wells that were present there, for all the data point, for all the production data point. So mean will give us a rough idea about the central tendency of a whole data. Next comes standard deviation. That can be known by df.std. Now from mean we get to know about the central tendency. This standard deviation will give you kind of information about the spread of the data, how you spread your data is, how your data is varying. If you also search the formula for standard deviation, so it will be nothing but we are subtracting the point from its mean and dividing by the n total number of points. I will show you later. Once we are off from this Jupyter notebook, I will show you the formula and all those things for standard deviation so that you can get a basic intuition behind what is standard deviation. So by using this df.std, we can know about the standard deviation also. Once again, here also we can also change the axis. By default, axis is 0. We are getting row wise, or you can say we are getting across the column standard deviation. But if we set axis equal to 1, then we can get across the row wise standard deviation. Now next is df.count. That will give me total count of non-null values. So from here we can get a rough estimate that how many non-null values are present. This we can also get in df.info. The next function is df.median. Again, median is also a type of what we can say measure of central tendency, just like mean. If you guys have studied about this mean median mode in your high school, then you will know. But one difference between mean and median is that, for example, if you have some outliers in your data, outliers are basically some very large point or some very small points. If these outliers are present in your data, so in those data, your mean will be highly affected by these outliers. But if you take the median of their data, that will not be affected by the outliers. So when outliers are present, you can definitely take the median of the data for doing your purposes. Basically, these mean median are basically used for imputing your null values, and also there are certain more applications of these things we will get to know when we dig deeper into our playlist through this. So this is medium. Next is minimum value. So from here we can get the minimum value. Here you can see bore water volume is minus 458. So this may be an outlier because it is not possible to produce a negative volume of water. So sometimes these things happen. This may be because of some This is because of some error. This can be because of some sensor error or some human error. It can also be there. For example, if someone is imputing the data values, he mistakenly has added this negative sign. So this is because of some errors. So this is an outlier. So if we use mean for calculating the whole data points, but here there are 15,000 points, so this minus 458 doesn't kind of make any effect. But for example, there are only 10 points, and in those 10 points, one of the point is this minus 458. That is an outlier. So that will affect your mean by large values. So in that scenario, if you use median for getting the central tendency of your data, that will be more appropriate. And by using this mean median mode value, you can also get to know about whether your data distribution is of a type of normal distribution or right skewed or left skewed. We have talked briefly about this distribution in our NumPy series, but also we will talk in detail when we are going to discuss whole statistics. In a similar way, we can also get the maximum value for each column by using df.max. So these are and doing all this, taking a statistical summary of all your data. For getting the statistical summary of all your data, you can use df.describe best function. Here you can see this df.describe will return the total count for each column, mean for each column. Here you can see we are getting mean for each column, standard deviation for each column, minimum value for each column, maximum value for each column, and 25, 50, and 75 percentile for each column. Now, what are these percentile? We will discuss. Let us discuss a little bit of statistics now, so that you guys get an idea that what are these things, or what is the thing that is going on. Give me 1 second. Okay. So yeah. So let's discuss some statistics. Pardon for my handwriting. So statistics is basically, you can say that statistics is a science that deal with methodologies to gather data, review data, analyze data, visualize, and draw conclusion from data. So basically, we are reviewing the data and we are getting some conclusions from the data. That science is known as statistics. So in statistics, basically, we are going to deal with two things. One is our measure of central tendency of data. And second is our measure of spread, how your data is spread. Right? Now for these central tendencies, again, there are different things by using which we can know about the central point, mean, median, and mode. And for getting the measure of spread, that how your data is spread, basically we use standard deviation and variance. Okay, so we are not going to get into deep, but this will give you a rough idea. So basically, there is this 5-number summary that we are going to discuss, that we have seen 5-number summary. By seeing these 5 numbers, we can get to know about our distribution of the data. Now, what are these 5 numbers? These 5 numbers are basically, start here. First is minimum. What is the minimum point of your data? Okay. Second is 25 percentile, or you can also say first quartile. Third is median or mean. Fourth is 75 percentile, and your final one is maximum of your data. So what are these things? Let us suppose we have pressure data from a given well. We have pressure data. We have around 100 points for pressure data. We have 100 points. These. Now, if I'm going to arrange these 100 points in ascending order, I have arranged my 100 points in ascending order. This is my 0th point, 0th, and this is my 100th point. In ascending order, these are arranged, increasing order. Okay. Now this minimum point is going to be my this min value. Okay. And this 100 point, the maximum point is my max value. Now 25 percentile corresponds to the that point, because we have 100 points here. So the 25 data that is present at the 25th index will be my 25 percentile. Somewhat here, my 25th point will be my 25 percentile. So it basically says that the point 25 percentile is the point below which 25% of the data is smaller than that. So if you see, let us say that my minimum point is 100 psi, maximum point, let us take 150 psi, and I have 98 more points in between them. And there is this point 110. Now there were 25 points that were lying in between 100 and 110. So this 110th is going to be my 25th percentile or first quartile of the data. Okay. The second median will be my centered point, or you can say 50th point here. 75 percentile will be my 75th point. For example, let us take maximum value is 150, minimum is 100, 25th is present at my 110. Let us take 50th as 130 and 75th as 140. So basically 75th percentile will say that 75% of the total data points are smaller than this 140, right? And maximum value will say that 100% of all the data points are smaller than this maximum point. Now this we have discussed about ideal condition. Now sometimes what happens that there will be some outliers were also present below this min point and maximum point, because for example here 150 and we have data from 100 to 150 mainly. Let us take from these 100 data points, about 95 data points are in between 100 and 150, and there were 5 points that are above this. For example, let us take, there are 2 points, one is 500 psi and other is 1000 psi, and 3 points are there that are 0 psi, 10 psi or 20 psi. So these 5 points are going to be my outliers. So by looking at this df.describe that we have seen, we can tell about the distribution, that how my distribution is looking, or are there outliers are present, or actually there are one thing more, there are different type of distributions. One is normal distribution, then there is right skewed and left skewed. So maybe we can discuss it later, but for now I think this much is enough to know about the statistics for going on forward. So yeah, that's all for this session. We will continue our discussion in the next session regarding our Pandas data frame, and we are going to discuss many more things about indexing, Pandas indexing, slicing of the data frame, and how to get certain values from a row, get certain values from a column. So thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.